in the game.
tool. You was out there with that little
I
tool.
made it work though.
Yeah, you did.
You heard?
Yeah. Hey,
If you want, just tell niggas you wanted the shovel, man.
who the fuck said pause?
That little tool.
Pause is coming from the audience.
That little
man?
tool. That
You
little,
got paused by the audience.
that little
Yo.
tool is crazy.
Yo,
Black History Month.
nigga, shit so
shits is
crazy. The
coming from the
audience said
corners,
pause.
Damn.
Damn, man. We ain't got to say it no more. That shit came from the crowd.
At the heart of this whole situation are three names that don't move independently at a culture: 50 Cent, Jim Jones, and Ma. Each of them comes with legacy, pride, and a resume that was solidified long before social media made every post a breaking story. So when 50 Cent dropped comments that fans instantly called disrespectful, listen to this, it didn't land as humor. It landed like ignition. And in hip-hop, hold up, ignitions don't fizzle out quietly. 50 Cent has literally built a second chapter of his career off saying whatever he wants, whenever he wants, then letting the fallout go viral. He doesn't tiptoe. He doesn't soften it. He posts, laughs it off, and hits repeat. That's been the formula for years now. From label wars to personal jabs, 50 has always framed himself as untouchable, speaking from a position of power and wealth, having survived it all. But girl, that same energy has also tagged him as someone who lights fires that never needed a match. Jim Jones, meanwhile, stands on a completely different code. As a Dipset founder, Harlem fixture, and someone who treats respect like currency, Jim has never been known for letting slick comments slide, especially from someone who knows exactly how heavy words are in this game. His history of confrontations, public backs and forths, and candid interviews all tell the same story. If Jim feels crossed, he answers it. Not subtly, not sideways. Then you've got Ma, frequently overlooked but never voiceless. And over time, Ma has carved out a reputation centered on growth, self-awareness, and moving with intention. But don't get it twisted for weakness. He said it again and again in interviews and side conversations. Choosing peace does not mean accepting disrespect. Ma has made it clear he speaks for a generation of artists who made it out of the streets, survived the industry, and now require a minimal level of respect, no negotiations. So when 50 Cent's comments popped up, comments people read as dismissive, sarcastic, and low-key intentional, hold up, it caught attention fast. Fans didn't just ask, what did he say? They asked, why say it now? Because timing matters, context matters, and this timing felt anything but accidental. What really weighed the moment down was the history sitting underneath it. This wasn't some random first interaction. There have been years of quiet tension, industry comparisons, slick remarks, and competitive energy hovering between these circles. Nothing loud enough to explode before, but enough unresolved friction that one sharp line could rip old scars open. Social media did exactly what it always does. Clips looped non-stop, words got slowed, isolated, and magnified. Captions were reworded to hit even harder. Suddenly, something that might have slid in another era turned into a full-scale debate about respect, legacy, and power. Fans picked sides almost instantly. Some ran to defend 50, saying this is who he's always been and anyone shocked hasn't been paying attention. Others pushed back, arguing there's a clear line between jokes and disrespect, and this time that line got stepped on. And here's the real point. This was never just about jokes or insults. It was about positioning, about who feels entitled to speak on who, about whether success automatically gives someone lifetime permission to minimize others. In a culture built on pride and survival, those questions hit different. That's why Jim Jones and Ma's responses mattered as much as they did. Silence would have looked like agreement. Laughing it off would have looked like weakness. Any reaction was guaranteed to be clipped, quoted, and turned into content. Because they weren't just responding to 50 Cent. They were reacting to the idea that certain voices get unlimited freedom, while others are expected to just absorb it. That's where this situation really took shape. Not with yelling, not with threats, but with a handful of words that landed exactly where they were supposed to land. And once they landed, there was no undoing it. The moment those comments hit the timeline, the narrative stopped being about what was actually said and shifted into what people thought was being suggested. That's when everything went left. Almost overnight, the internet turned into a full-scale investigation center. Armchair experts, podcast sleuths, and anonymous insiders suddenly popped up claiming they knew the real story. Screenshots started making the rounds. Out-of-context clips were framed as smoking guns. Comment sections filled with lines like, "This runs deeper," and "They've been hiding this for years." No receipts, no confirmation, just vibes, speculation, and that wild confidence only the internet has. According to unnamed industry insiders quoted on blogs and live streams, this wasn't just disrespect. Listen to this. They framed it as retaliation. Retaliation is tied to old meetings, past conversations, and long-standing power struggles that were never meant to see daylight. Some stories claimed there were private rooms where deals were struck and alliances quietly rearranged. Others alleged flashy spending habits and ego-driven chess moves, painting dramatic pictures of who supposedly pulls strings behind the curtain. The wording was intentionally cinematic. Mansions, entourages, secret calls, whispered warnings, none of it verified, all of it repeated like a fact. One viral post insisted 50 never speaks unless he's signaling something. Another swore Jim and Maino had been tested behind closed doors long before any comments surfaced. Again, no names, just sources close to the situation. That phrase that sounds official enough to believe if you already want to. Public reaction split almost immediately. Some fans treated it like pure entertainment, turning the whole thing into memes, reaction clips, and remix jokes. Others took it personally. Long threads started popping up, dissecting body language, tone, and even pauses in Jim Jones's response, with people claiming his calm was really restrained anger. Maino's statements were broken down word by word, with viewers arguing over whether he was choosing peace or quietly drawing a line. And celebrities didn't exactly cool things off. A few subtle likes, cryptic emojis, and side comments that named no one but said everything only poured fuel on it. Every move added another layer to the story. Even silence started looking suspicious. Why isn't he responding? Who told him to stay quiet? What are they waiting for? By this stage, the story had drifted far away from facts. It was all about momentum. Once people decided this was big, everything became proof of something even bigger. Old interviews resurfaced. Past jokes were reframed as warnings. Friendly photos were recast as fake alliances. The situation grew not because of what actually happened, but because of what people imagined might happen next. And in that kind of environment, perception matters more than reality ever could. When the second 50 Cent's comments went public, what started as a private jab turned into a full-blown spectacle. Social media went nuclear overnight. Fans, bloggers, and self-proclaimed industry insiders kicked into overdrive. Every clip, every word, even the timing of his posts were examined like courtroom evidence. Suddenly, a small remark became headline material. Anonymous sources quickly crawled out claiming insider knowledge. One said the 50's comments were no accident. Listen to this. They claimed it was calculated to provoke Jim and Maino and had been in motion for weeks. Another argued Jim's response wasn't really about respect at all. It was about long-standing industry issues nobody likes admitting exist. Whether true or pure speculation, those claims set the internet on fire. Fans and critics grabbed onto every detail they could find. Lavish lifestyles got dragged into it next. Rumors about private jets, luxury cars, and elite parties were blown up as signs of power plays and intimidation. Imagined reports described secret meetings, backroom deals, and whispered warnings, all pointing to some hidden network pulling strings behind the scenes. The narrative became larger than life. Disrespect stopped being just words. It turned into a perceived threat to reputations, loyalty, and status. And public reaction ranged everywhere from disbelief to outright outrage. Some fans applauded 50 Cent's boldness, saying he was just telling his truth with no filter. Others were heated,
viewing his comments as a straight-up disrespect to two artists with real legacy in the culture. Memes and reaction clips spread fast, breaking down every movement and every word from Jim and Maino. Even the pauses got put under a microscope. Was it intentional silence, or was it controlled anger? Celebrity reactions only made it worse. Cryptic posts, quiet likes, and casual remarks hinted at alliances, tension, and behind-the-scenes drama, sending speculation into overdrive. Every social media move was treated like a statement, whether it was meant to be or not. By the end of it, the situation had evolved into something way bigger than the original comment. It wasn't about what was said. It was about perception, ego, and power. And once perception took the wheel, reality barely had a seat. The public watched, debated, and waited, knowing this chapter wasn't finished yet. As things started to cool on the surface, it became obvious this wasn't just an online back and forth. This was a full-scale crisis with real ripple effects. Legal analysts and industry insiders began floating possible outcomes. And the tension didn't stop online. Behind closed doors, sources claimed executives, managers, and promoters were scrambling to manage the damage, trying to stop it from turning into a PR disaster that could impact careers and money. Hypothetical legal threats started popping up in blogs and live streams. One anonymous insider claimed there's talk of defamation suits. Jim and Maino aren't the type to just sit back. If this keeps escalating, they could take 50 to court. Suddenly, people imagined lawyers combing through posts, dissecting tweets, and drafting formal notices. Even if no lawsuits ever came, the tension alone sent shockwaves through the industry. The backlash hit fast and hard. Fans on all sides dug in, defending their favorites and turning every small detail into proof of disrespect or wrongdoing. Hashtags trended overnight, flipping the situation into a meme-fueled viral standoff that pressured everyone involved to speak. Silence became suspicious. Delayed responses were overanalyzed, and every facial expression and gesture in interviews got broken down for hidden meaning. This wasn't just gossip anymore. It had turned into a full-on war of perception. Money talk entered the chat next. Some sources floated scenarios about potential sponsorship losses, delayed tours, or scrapped collaborations, arguing that brands don't like being attached to public beefs. Luxury partnerships and endorsement deals that once felt untouchable suddenly looked shaky simply because the noise had grown impossible to ignore. Whispers of canceled appearances and corporate warnings spread, alongside claims of hush-hush meetings with industry power brokers, all aimed at stopping a total collapse. At the same time, analysts and commentators started building elaborate what-if scenarios, management resignations, fractured partnerships, even hypothetical scrutiny into the wider networks connected to these artists. Every scenario told the same story. An empire rattled by a handful of words. It was a sharp reminder that in celebrity culture, perception can hit harder than reality ever does. And then there was the human side. Talk of emotional pressure, private confrontations, and tense behind-the-scenes exchanges began circulating, mostly unconfirmed, but compelling enough to keep the conversation alive. People imagined Jim Jones's inner circle closing ranks around him. Mo was framed as carefully calculating his next step, and 50 Cent, he was painted as watching the chaos play out with that familiar mix of amusement and strategy. By this point, the situation had evolved into a layered drama touching pride, legacy, money, and loyalty. What started as a single remark had snowballed into a complex web of hypotheticals, reactions, and imagined consequences, each one feeding the next. One thing was clear, this wasn't done. Every angle had been broken down, every rumor boosted, and every possible outcome debated. The whole thing became a case study in how fast respect, power, and reputation can collide, and how the public, fueled by social media and imagination, can turn a small spark into a full-blown inferno. So, where does that leave us? A handful of words lit a wildfire. One comment from 50 Cent has unraveled into layers of tension, speculation, and imagined fallout that reach way past the internet. Jim Jones and Maino have made their stances clear, but the real story is still in motion. Do legal threats actually turn real? Do endorsements, tours, or collaborations start getting quietly pulled? Do alliances shift in ways nobody saw coming? One thing's for sure, listen to this, in hip-hop, nothing stays silent for long. Now it's on you to weigh in. Did 50 Cent cross the line this time, or was this just classic 50 being unapologetically 50? Did Jim and Maino handle it the right way, or did their responses crack the door open for even more chaos? And don't ignore the bigger question. What does this moment say about respect, power, and loyalty in today's industry? Every angle sparks debate, and every fan has their own theory. If you're surprised, locked in, or just can't look away, you already know the move. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's open this conversation up. Hit that like button if you're following the drama and want to stay in the loop. And make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because we'll be breaking down every twist, every reaction, and every possible fallout as it unfolds. This isn't just gossip. This isn't just entertainment. This is a live window into a world where words carry weight, reputations hang in the balance, and one comment can trigger a chain reaction nobody sees coming. So stay locked in, because with 50 Cent, Jim Jones, and Maino, the next move could drop at any moment, and you don't want to miss it. And here's the real kicker. This story is nowhere near finished. Social media moves faster than any PR team or legal system can react, and in hip-hop, perception often outweighs reality. Every post, every like, every cryptic emoji can be read as a signal, a warning, or even a challenge. Fans aren't just watching anymore. They're active participants, breaking down every moment and adding fuel with every click, comment, and share. Picture this. One interview, a subtle gesture, or a single retweet could flip the entire narrative in hours. Alliances could change overnight. Old tensions could resurface. Even those trying to stay neutral might get dragged into the spotlight. And while everyone waits for the next move, rumors will keep spinning. Some real, some stretched, some are completely made up. That's the game, and anyone in this industry knows exactly how it works. So keep your eyes open, stay locked in, keep questioning, and keep the conversation moving. Pay attention to every shift in Jim Jones's tone, every look on Maino's face, and every post 50 Cent drops. The next reveal could hit at any moment, and when it does, hold up, it'll flip the conversation all over again. This isn't just another hip-hop moment. It's a live lesson in how respect, reputation, and raw power crash into each other, with the audience watching in real time. So jump in the comments, drop your theories, and be part of the discussion. This story changes daily, and staying silent means staying outside of it. The real question now is simple. Who makes the next move, and how far does this go? Are we witnessing the close of a chapter, or is this the opening shot of a war nobody saw coming? Stick around, because when three heavyweights like this are involved, the next twist could be explosive. Now more than ever, this is about strategy just as much as ego. Who plays it smart, who reacts to emotion, and who's quietly lining up a move nobody sees coming. In hip-hop, timing is everything. One wrong response at the wrong moment can set off a chain reaction that lasts months or even years. So stay alert. Watch every post, every coded statement, every subtle move from 50 Cent, Jim Jones, and Maino. Because this isn't just entertainment. This is a living, breathing drama unfolding in real time. And one thing's for sure, the next move will be bigger, louder, and more shocking than anything so far. So the question is now, are you ready to see it?